We lost 4 souls to another senseless act of gun violence, including a member of the New York City Police Department, Officer Islam. He served in the 47th Precinct. He was just 36 years old. He's an immigrant from Bangladesh, and he loved this city. He's a true blue New Yorker, not only in the uniform he wore, but in his spirit and energy of loving this city. And early tonight, I met with the officer's family. I told them that he was a hero, and we admire him for putting his life on the line.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams late last night honoring a fallen NYPD officer, one of the 4 people shot and killed yesterday in Midtown Manhattan. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. It's Tuesday, July 29th. Willie, such a tragedy. And again, an NYPD officer and others gunned down senselessly yesterday in Midtown New York.
Yeah, just a few blocks from where I'm sitting right now in Midtown Manhattan. These are the front pages this morning, Joe, of the New York tabloids. Terror on Park Avenue, writes the New York Post. Daily News, Midtown carnage. Here's what happened. A man with a rifle entered a high-rise building during rush hour yesterday evening, killing a New York City police officer, as you heard there, and 3 civilians before fatally shooting himself. Video shows a chaotic scene outside the Park Avenue skyscraper, which houses offices for major companies like the NFL and the investment firm Blackstone. The lone gunman has been identified as 27-year-old Shane Devin Tamura from Las Vegas. Police say he has a documented history of mental health problems. According to officials familiar with the investigation, the suspect did leave a note at the scene of the shooting where he mentioned his mental illness may be linked to CTE from his years playing high school football. Investigators are looking into whether that may be why he targeted the building, but they stress the investigation is early and ongoing. Officials also say they found a cell phone at the scene, as well as a rifle case, magazines with ammunition, a loaded revolver, and medication prescribed to the suspect. Among those killed, 36-year-old NYPD officer Didarul Islam, an immigrant from Bangladesh. He'd been with the department for more than 3 years. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch spoke about the slain officer during a news conference last night.
Officer Islam was married with 2 young boys, and his wife is pregnant with their 3rd child. He's assigned to the 4-7 precinct in the Bronx. He was doing the job that we asked him to do. He put himself in harm's way. He made the ultimate sacrifice, shot in cold blood, wearing a uniform that stood for the promise that he made to this city. He died as he lived, a hero.
As I mentioned, NFL's offices are in that building. The commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, says a league employee also was seriously injured in the attack, now in stable condition at the hospital. Let's bring in NBC News national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter. Tom, good morning. So let's just go back a little bit and walk us through what exactly happened last night. It looks like the man double parked his car and kind of walked in just holding out in the open that semi-automatic rifle.
Yeah, an incredible sight here in New York City because obviously people don't open carry assault rifles around this city, and you're used to seeing them on police officers. So we do see him on a surveillance camera walking in. That's the camera there that captures him walking into this building, kind of, it appears, casually. And then once he gets inside, he turns to his right. He begins firing. He kills Officer Islam, kills several others, and then finds his way into elevator. The elevator comes down to the lobby floor, according to the police commissioner, Willie, and he lets the person out, does not confront that person, doesn't shoot that person, gets into the elevator bank, and then eventually gets his way up to the 33rd floor where the shooting continues, and then he dies by suicide after that. Apparently from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, the police commissioner said, to his chest. So that's the information that we have. To backtrack it a little bit further, this happens approximately 6:28 last night when the 911 calls start coming in. As you mentioned, this double parked car outside of there, BMW with Las Vegas plates. It immediately sticks out to police officers because, they clear the scene, they get everybody out of there, and that car remains there. As a matter of fact, the former assistant commissioner for the police department, now deputy mayor of public safety, is on the radio asking for a check of the license plate. They were eventually able to go back and look at the license plate and track it back using the license plate readers. So according to the police commissioner, they were able to find out that he's in Colorado on July 26th. You remember from the incident outside of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, they were able to track that individual's movements through the license plate reader systems in Colorado. So that system is quite helpful. Nebraska and Iowa on July 27th, and then in Columbia, New Jersey, around 4:24 yesterday afternoon. So they've got his movements across the country, taking this weapon here. Also found in the vehicle was his cell phone, which they'll try to get into if they haven't already. They found, as you mentioned, a revolver inside the vehicle as well. And then that note, which is certainly providing a clue, because apparently there was nothing on his person that helped them out other than his wallet and a photo of a apparently now expired concealed carry permit in Las Vegas. So that's really what they have to go on, is that note, the fact that he mentions his mental health, perhaps linked to a football injury, perhaps linked to CTE. We know this is the headquarters of the NFL. It's not clear from anybody we've talked to at this moment that he directly says that there's a link between him showing up at this building and conducting this shooting in the NFL, but I think people are certainly circling that information and the fact that it's there. Why he ended up on that floor, which doesn't appear to correspond with the NFL's offices, and all of those details will be figured out, or they won't, because obviously this individual's deceased. So that's what we know about the investigation so far. No word on, and certainly no indication at this point that anybody else has been involved. But obviously they'll look and see how he got that gun.
Yeah, and to be clear, he played high school football. He didn't play college or in the NFL. So he's talking about CT as a possible link. We'll have to wait and see if that turns out to be true. Didn't even go to the right floor. If he was targeting the NFL, was even close, without getting into the specifics of what floors the NFL is on. Is there anything else from what you've been able to report out in that letter that might indicate to them why he took this incredible measure to drive clear across the country to shoot people at random in the lobby of a building in New York City before going upstairs, killing one other person and himself?
So, our colleague Jonathan Dienst was up till within the last several hours here this morning working this. And when we were chatting before going to bed last night, obviously this presents a potential challenge here because if somebody was again targeting a business or an institution in New York City, approximately 7 months ago, I was sitting in this exact seat, and you and I were talking about a targeted killing of a United Healthcare CEO. And so if people are going to start going after individual companies, given the size and scope of businesses that are here in New York City, particularly very high-profile ones, given the fact that all the information is out there and is public as far as where companies are located, this raises significant security concerns. As far as the floor, as far as why he chose this, he may have just looked up the NFL address, seen that it was 345 Park Avenue, doesn't know that in these buildings, including the one that we're in, we're not the only tenant here. This whole building is not NBC and MSNBC. I mean, there's a number of private companies that are here that have nothing to do with our industry or business. So that's fairly typical. We know that. You and I work here. A lot of people know that, but not everybody knows that. So it's not clear yet as to, again, what floor, why it was, and as we all know from these complicated elevator systems, that maybe this person just happened to select the floor that was already selected by somebody else. So all of those things will go into the investigation as much as they can try to figure out. Obviously, this individual is dead, but I think certainly the focus right now for the police department is not only on the investigation, but also on the fact that one of their officers from the 4-7 precinct in the Bronx, who was doing what they were asked to do, as the police commissioner said, this was the first target apparently of this shooter, is unfortunately deceased, father, 2 kids, wife expecting. Certainly a difficult morning in the city.
Immigrant from Bangladesh.
Yes.
New York Times has a piece today just pointing out he was living his dream. Immigrated here, bought a place in New York, raising his family there, said he just wanted to make his family proud by being a New York City police officer. He was in uniform. We should point out that New York City police officers often work extra security. We're so grateful we have that in this building as well, providing a presence. But that is not an unusual thing to see a New York City police officer stationed at a high-profile building.
Right, exactly. That happens all the time, and it's for the very reasons that you would expect and the very reasons that we were kind of talking about here this morning, that we have these high-profile companies. They attract sometimes, unfortunately, individuals with a documented or an undocumented history of mental health issues, and so they see these places as a place that speaks to them or that they have an issue with, even if a major corporation has never interacted with this individual ever. People feel some sort of a calling or some sort of a reason to conduct an attack. The NYPD's Intelligence and Counterterrorism Bureau, after the shooting of Luigi Mangione, I think it was within a day or two, we were here on set reporting it out as we were getting the information. They were concerned about the idea of potential copycats and people continuing to target corporations. So this is something that they're very aware of. Gets us back to your point, the idea of having a uniformed police officer in these high-profile buildings with these high-profile businesses is fairly common, and it's something that the NYPD works with these companies because it works for them. You have an officer there, somebody who can see something, hear something, and if something happens in a building, they have some sort of a connection or a relationship with the building. Obviously, yesterday, somebody armed with that type of a weapon is going to be somebody who's going to be difficult to stop. And the police officers knew right away. They call for their heavy weapons teams, the strategic response group. Those are the units. We show the video of them all the time around the holidays, around the parades, and along with CRC, the counterterrorism component. They're focused on having those weapons and being able to respond as fast as they can.
The victims in the lobby, Officer Islam, a security guard, and a woman who was said to be trying to hide behind a pillar but couldn't get there fast enough. We'll learn more details, I suspect, today about the motives. We'll also talk in just a little while here, live on Morning Joe with New York City Mayor Eric Adams. NBC's Tom Winter, thanks for your reporting as always. We appreciate it.